Welcome everybody to the National Exhibition Centre in Birmingham for the 16th and final gold medal competition in this year's Commonwealth Games Weightlifting Festival. I'm David Goldstrom, together with Melbourne 2006 Commonwealth Games champion Michaela Breeze. And it's great to have you on board for this, the final competition, the big boys, the super heavyweights, over 109 kilos plus. Well, the lightest of the big boys weighed in the last 2 hours at 129 kilos, the heaviest at 182 kilos. And in competition tonight, the gold and bronze medalists from the past 4 years on the Gold Coast, the Oceanic champion and Commonwealth Championship gold and bronze medalists. Well, let's introduce you to the contenders. Representing Sri Lanka, Ushan Widana Pathirange. In the Sri Lankan Navy, this is second Commonwealth Games appearance. Representing England, but based in Johannesburg, Gordon Shaw. He competed in the Games in Glasgow in 2014, when it was the 105+ kilo class. He finished 5th. Supported by the Indian Railways, Singh Gurdeep. 4th in the Commonwealth Games 4 years ago, and 3rd more recently in the Commonwealth Championships last December in Tashkent. For Australia, it's first time at the Commonwealth Games for this man, Suamili Nanai. In fact, he's never lifted anywhere outside Perth. And so too the defending champion for New Zealand, David Litti. From Auckland, everybody hopefully in the Strength HQ gym, ready to see this man try and defend his title. From South Africa, from Johannesburg, this is Nathan Morris. Lifts out of the Pirates gym, and another man making his Commonwealth Games debut. For Canada, all the way from Halifax in Nova Scotia, Quinn Everett. Formerly from the world of American football, he was a centre for Winnipeg. And so to Samoa, Patelo Tuiloma, first international, first time he's been on an aeroplane to come here to Birmingham. And completing the lineup, the man who got the bronze medal 4 years ago in Brisbane on the Gold Coast, Mohammed Nur Butt. A man who was inspired by his father Ghulam, who in former days was a silver and bronze medalist at the Asian Championships. So those are your contenders. A really terrific lineup for the finale. And Michaela, all big boys, over 109 kilos. And the competitions, we haven't had a disappointment yet. And I think this is going to be just as good.
I totally agree, David. The competitions have been outstanding. We've got in front of us the records. The ones to pay particular attention to are the game standards. 169 on the snatch, 217 kilos in the clean and jerk. They are only standards because the weight categories have been changed recently. And in order for them to be broken, an athlete has to surpass those numbers.
So there on the right of your picture, you can see the weights that each lifter has proposed for their opening first attempt. Whether they actually come out on those weights will depend very much on how the warm-up has gone. And that warm-up period, the last phase of it, the last 10 minutes, that is just about to come to an end. Once again, a packed house, which has been nicknamed here in Birmingham the party venue of the Commonwealth Games.
It most certainly is. I think athletes from other sports have been coming here to watch. We've actually had volunteers and people from other venues come here because it's just so incredible.
But it's not just been nicknamed, it's actually earned that title, hasn't it? Because it's the spectators, the fans, they've loved every minute of it. They know what the sport's about.
But also the guys announcing here and winding the fans up, they've made a huge difference, and it's just so lovely to see the crowd are pumped before the competition even starts.
So Nathan Morris from Johannesburg to get us underway, 135 kilos loaded on the bar. As I said, loads of people looking out for him back home from the Pirates gym, including his girlfriend Brittany. But he's going to need to raise his game, isn't he, for the second attempt?
Yeah, we take a look here. Bar swings around his knees and the shoulders go back at the top. It's just a small swing on the bar, but it's enough to leave it out in front. When the bar swings, you really need to be catching it directly overhead, but it's very hard to control. And these guys, well, they're going to be big, they're going to be tall, hands are going to be out super wide. Now we're in a position where Nathan will be following himself, 2 minutes on the clock. Not the start that he'd want, but he looks pretty calm, looks composed.
Came originally from rugby union, but as part of that sport, he was weightlifting and then suddenly fell in weightlifting and decided that it was much more fun in the world of weightlifting than it was in the world of rugby. Had a warm-up competition in Mauritius in February just to prepare for the games. He won that. He's got a personal best in the snatch of 136 kilos, so this is just 1 kilo below that. Second attempt, must get. Come on. Well, it's wobbly. Nonetheless, good enough for 3 white lights.
The 3 white lights is what he was after. The fist pump says he's happy. Position better off the floor, doesn't swing the bar anywhere near as much. You're right, shaking underneath the bar. You know, this is a decent weight, 136 kilos overhead. He has to work hard to steady it.
At a body weight of 129 kilos, he is the lightest of all the big boys.
There's a change, 138 kilograms, 138 kilograms for the first attempt of Ushan.
So, first attempt now for Ushan Vidana Pathirange for Sri Lanka. This is the man who is supported by the Sri Lankan Navy. And this is second appearance in the Commonwealth Games. Well, that was comfortable.
Very comfortable opener, 138,
no
problems.
Obviously, referee saw infringement, so 138 kilograms will remain on the barbell.
Well, it was certainly comfortable in terms of weight.
Oh, yeah. Huge press out.
Right arm.
Both arms.
Okay, Bruno, another small technical point. In weightlifting, it has to be a complete clean movement. There can't be any pressing out of the elbow. If there is...
So let's just clarify a couple of things for you, particularly if you're new to the sport. Weightlifting made up of 2 disciplines, snatch and clean and jerk. We're watching the snatch at the moment. The bar must go from the floor overhead in one continuous movement. You're not allowed to have any movement of the elbows, and that's why that previous attempt was failed. Take a look here. Both elbows, arms are bent, then they're straight. And that's what the referees have seen. There are 3 referees. It must be a majority decision. Sometimes the jury will step in and overrule or take a further look at a lift if they need to. And when a lifter is following themselves, which is happening in this case, it's a rising bar, Nobody else wants this weight, so he's got 2 minutes.
These first attempts are so important. When you miss that first attempt, it immediately starts to limit your ambitions. You absolutely cannot afford to fail a second time. Right on the edge of the platform. That was better, surely.
Centre referee doesn't agree. Right arm, as he stood up, there was movement in it. The jury aren't moving, so they're happy that the lift will be given.
That was Shyamala Shetty of India, who is the central referee.
Let's take a look. His right arm, our left, as we see the picture, bent. Now it's straight.
Nonetheless, as you say, he's given the lift, so he has 138 kilos at the second time of asking.
Hello Birmingham, so I'm sat over here with our loaders.
There's a challenge.
Defending champion David Litty from New Zealand, posting 166 for his opening attempt, so it'll be a while until we see him. Suamini Nanai of Australia, 160. Singh Gurdeep of India, 160. Just to give you an idea of what we need to look forward to. And the lifter from Pakistan, Mohammed Noor Butt, 170 kilos. So Nathan Morris for his third attempt. 6 kilo increase here to try and collect 141 kilos. Good lift. New personal best.
And the best of the three. He'll be a little frustrated, reflecting back on the first lift he missed. But he's put the wrongs to right. 2 out of 3. And he finishes on 141. He seems pretty happy with it.
So the bar going up to 145 kilos. Sri Lanka on the stage again. Now he has lifted 145, but the problem is that he didn't manage that first attempt. Well, he's got a bigger mountain to climb, shall we say.
Yeah, 7 kilo increase based on how tricky the 138 was. Seemed a little bit crazy to me. But he went for it. He obviously had a target weight he wanted to finish on. Not to be, just not enough height on the bar.
Well, next up should be the first appearance of the Samoan. This is Patello, but the bar's changed and the weight going to 156 kilos.
6 kilograms for the first attempt of Quinn Everett from Canada.
Up to 157 kilos for Quinn Everett.
157 ladies.
This is brilliant. I'm just watching the loaders running up and down on the platform.
So here is Quinn, comes from a lovely part of the world, Halifax, Nova Scotia, on the east coast of Canada. Debut at the Commonwealth Games. Just kept himself on the platform.
And some information I found out just before the competition as well is Quinn has literally only just come out of isolation after testing positive for COVID. He's missed a couple of weeks training at a crucial point coming into this Commonwealth Games. So that really is quite unfortunate for him. He wasn't particularly ill with it, but he wasn't allowed to train. So he's literally a couple of days out of isolation. He comes out here, executes the first one. He'll be relieved to get that on the board.
As will his girlfriend, Geordie, who's watching from back home. Runs the family waterproofing contractor business. So, like the big halls we're in here, when they're being built, he and his family provide all the weather protection. Well, this is quite some occasion for this man from Australia, Suamini Nanai. First weightlifting competition ever outside his hometown of Perth.
That's insane.
The local newspaper described as the hulking West Australian beast has got his first attempt.
It looks so easy, David. That really did. He could do that for 3 reps. Extension is good, speed under is good, catch is a little high. Just looks so comfortable.
Representing England, Gordon Shaw, based out of Johannesburg, where he lives and works. He reminded me when he was in Glasgow in 2014. Apparently, I described him as the man mountain, but he's not coming out at the moment because it's Samoa. 160 kilos for Patelo to Iloma. First attempt, 160 on the bar. Excellent.
Really strong off the floor, tugging the bar with his arms, but he gets good leg drive to get the upward momentum on it. The sport isn't just about brute strength, there's far more to it than that.
And here is Gordon Shaw on 161. Trains out of the Gold's Gym in Johannesburg. Warmed up for these championships in the Europeans in Tirana in April. Good opener.
A fast opener. That was lightning quick underneath the bar, and it is so impressive, especially when you get to this kind of body weight, to see the guys moving at this speed, in and out of extension rapidly. And it's that speed that gives him the time to get underneath the bar. Brilliant lifting from Gordon.
Now the rhythm of the competition beginning to get established now. The bar going or staying on 161 for the Samoan. But that's not going to be there for long. You can see the cluster around the technical desk here. Bar to 162 for Quinn Everett of Canada.
Okay, perfect. You're seeing the tactical side of weightlifting. This is the coaches of
His gym is his garage.
It's got to be a high garage.
I said, does it get a bit cold? And he said, not a bother for us in Canada. So 162 kilos on the bar. He's got 157. So 5 kilo increase here.
Oh, what a shame.
Well, he was close to the front of the platform previously, but held on.
I'm not sure how that didn't hit the camera at the front. That was close. Lift itself, not bad, just slightly on the toes, but he ran out of room. Watch the bar hit the edge of the platform.
Yeah, given that he knows that he has...
This is the camera I was referring to. We nearly lost one.
Well, the sensible thing would be for him to just roll the bar a little further back on the platform and start further back.
But some lifters don't run forwards normally, and it's just that freak accident, and that may have been what happens.
He's done it twice.
Okay. You're right.
I think I am on this occasion. Not always. No, but he was very close to the front of the platform on the first attempt, which he got. So disappointing for him, because really he could have got that. But following himself here, because he's put the bar up to 164 kilos. So this will be a 7 kilo increase, and sort of suggests that he's just going to put that one out of his mind and try and sort of stay on track. Well, 165 is his personal best, so 164 tells us that this is a weight that he has achieved on a competition stage. When I refer to the personal best, I'm always referring to personal bests that have been achieved in this weight category on a competition platform. In training, these guys have lifted more. Well, that's a real disappointment. As you said, not easy, because he's had to stay, as it were, isolated and not able to train and prepare absolutely in the way that he would have wished. But nonetheless, only gets 1 out of 3, so it really, again, limits his ambitions. He's going to have to try and make up some of that deficit in the clean and jerk. And the bar goes up a kilo to 165 kilos for the Samoan. Quite remarkable, isn't it? The number of lifters who are making their debut. This is not only a debut, it's his first ever international. It's the first time he's ever boarded an aeroplane.
It's a pretty big stage to come to for your first international.
Down signals there, 2 out of 2.
Yeah, the reason he took a moment there was because his feet were not in line. He did have the down signal, but he wanted to show he was totally in control. Really good extension. Yeah, happy. Solid receive.
Until 6 months ago, this man was a carpenter, but then quit his job to focus on the preparations for the Commonwealth Games.
Make some noise.
So too the defending champion, David Litty for New Zealand, all 182 kilos of him. Hails from, well, just close to Auckland, lifts out of the Strength HQ gym. So I hope you're all up and on his side as he sets out to defend the title he won in Brisbane 4 years ago. A little bit of Pyrrhus Demos.
Well, you've got to love the showmanship. And when you've got the credentials under your belt that David Litty has, this was a pretty convincing opening lift, wasn't it?
Absolutely.
It flew.
One of 7 sisters and 3 brothers in the family. So to India, Singh Gurdeep from the Punjab, works for the Indian Railways as and when required. 4th in the Commonwealth Games 4 years ago. Wants a medal today. This for the lead.
Oof.
Well, effectively pushed the bar forward.
When he looked to the elbow, the left elbow came out of knock as he received it. The line of the bar not too bad, slightly forwards, but the left arm buckling meant he had no chance of recovering it. He was trying to run forwards as it happened, but when that arm's gone, there's nothing you can do.
He's gone up, so 167 kg. I'll say that again, 167 kg.
4 years ago in the Commonwealth Games, he snatched 175 kilos, so given that he's well prepared, which he is, the Indians should be able to recover from that, but Gordon Shaw, 161 to 167, 6 kilo increase here. Explosive execution.
Outstanding lifting from Gordon Shaw, a man full of confidence. This bar flew, tipped forwards quite a long way off the floor, but managed to be solid as a rock underneath.
Now, come on, Mr. Singh, we need this second attempt. Much better.
How easy was that?
Well, again, one of so many lifters we've seen throughout the past 5 days who's going to go backstage and say, why on earth didn't I do that first time?
This is super comfortable. If he can catch in that position, how much further can he go?
He's gone up, so 168 kilograms now for the second attempt of
Suamini Nanai from Perth in Western Australia.
No, he's going up.
Oh, has he gone up?
Yep.
So David Litty. Is David Litty really going to come out for 168? I doubt it.
He's sat there having a chill, look.
Yeah.
He's going nowhere fast.
Yeah, they're having a chat, really. Well, they're not really having a chat at the moment. David's in his own world.
Well, this is where all the action is taking place. The coaches are changing the weights, changing the weights. It's back to Samoa now. Are they going to come out on 168? Coach says no. So the coaches have 2 opportunities to change the weight each time. Now it goes back to India. Do India want this? No?
Yeah, the Samoans have put their next attempt up to 170 kilos. Gordon Shaw's gone to 171.
Now we go to Pakistan. 170?
Yeah, for his opener.
Does he want it, though?
If successful, this will be a new games snatch record.
So 170 is what he announced and said he was going to do. And if he gets this, he will establish the Commonwealth Games record for the snatch. The standard is 169. The bronze medalist of 4 years ago. And he told me he's here to get a shinier medal from the Punjab in Pakistan.
Take note, this man has a huge open on the clean and jerk as well. The rest of the competition will not want him getting too far ahead on the snatch. But he's established himself, he's here, and he means business.
So there's quite a few people who are going to want 170 kilos. Here's the first of them. Sir Meli Nanai, who's actually a leading seaman in the Royal Australian Navy. Second attempt. Well, those extra 10 kilos have beaten him this time around.
10 kilos, a decent jump. Too much here, he's got to find more legs, he's got to generate just a tiny bit more height on the bar. He looks focused, just not quite enough.
This is heating up, as you can see, there is very little in it.
Here's the champ, also going for 170 for his second attempt. His mum, Simi, and dad, Sissy, looking on back home in New Zealand. Impressive.
Very, very impressive, a man in command. He's got his work cut out though here. He may be defending champion, but he's got to dig deep. He needs every kilo he can on his last attempt. Really good technically. Speed under the bar is brilliant.
So to Samoa. Vatalo to Iloma. Third attempt is to keep him on the premises. Disappointing. Drops back a little bit. That leaves him on 165 kilos.
The early arm bend means the legs can't be maximally effective. Just again, doesn't quite get enough height on the bar.
So, Suomeni Nanai of Australia now. Third and final attempt to try and get these all-important 170 kilos. Well, that's a real setback because that drops him back to 160.
Yeah, and again, you've got to ask the question, was that too big a jump? Clearly on this occasion it was. You're never to know, are you? You gamble, the coaches take risks, the athlete is pumped up, full of adrenaline. They always want that bit more.
Yeah, you've got to factor in also that he's never been on a stage, he's never been in an environment anything like this. One of the things that I know you did all the time was to make sure before the competition started, you came out on the competition stage just to get a feeling for the venue and how it was set up.
That's right. Some of the lifters here, when they're introduced to the crowd, are just standing back for a moment once all the lifters come off the stage, and they don't care that they're supposed to go off the stage. They just take a moment to do what you've just described. Stand on the platform, just soak it up.
Well, talking about soaking up, this man's all about lifting it up. And the first one was absolutely spot on. 173 kilos for Mr. Butt from Pakistan. Respect. Well, you said it. Yeah, and he's asking
Let's
rightly
just
for a bit of a...
hold fire a minute, David. Sorry to interrupt, but there is a pause from the jury. They would like to take another look at this lift. So...
Well, I've just looked at that, and I'm not quite sure why.
So, yeah, sorry, I missed the replay there. I'm sure we'll get another replay, but just while the jury are confiding and having a look, here we go. Let us take a look as well. Looking for the elbows. Left elbow possibly bent, but as he stood, he twisted. It's very difficult to see the movement. What do the jury make of it? I'm not the jury, I'm not the referee.
As much noise as you wish to make, you can make
You do need a slightly better system, though, where the jury can notify everybody straight away.
I want to point something out here. Only one person in the jury is absolutely head on to that monitor. You've got jury members who are looking from the wings, and they couldn't possibly see the angle.
Well, let's just see what the decision is. A decision has been made. We have the slowest person ever walking to the announcer's table to give the decision. Here it comes.
The jury has to review the tape of Mohammed Nuba, and so it is a good lift.
Good lift.
Quite right too. But I want to make the point that you've got a tiny monitor, one person sitting in front of it, and the other people who are asked to make a decision are looking at a very acute angle.
Yeah, they could definitely sharpen up, maybe just have one person reviewing.
So Gordon Shaw, 173 for 3 out of 3 to complete his opening sequence. Fingers crossed, because he is really pushing himself here. That was not that far away, Michaela.
No, it really wasn't. Most lifters allow the clock to tick 30 seconds. Big tip forwards as he comes off the floor, and that's hard to recover from. See, it pulls him forwards, he then tries to recover. So close.
So just at this moment in time, Mohammed Nur Butt of Pakistan leading with 173, which is a games record for the snatch. David Litt, the defending champion. David Litty, I should say, I beg his pardon, on 170. And this is 173 for Singh Gurdeep of India. Well, that's really disappointing. He lost the first one. The second one was very solid.
The second one, David, was easy, and it's a real shame here. But remember, this is not all about pure strength. This is very much about how they move with the bar. You've got to be technically precise. We're moving at speed into really challenging positions with a very heavy load.
And it's a real shame because one or two lifters are in a sense, making the task for the Pakistan lifter and the defending champion just that little bit easier, or easier.
Well, David Liti, who is just waiting, biding his time here. He needs this.
Remember, the man from Pakistan still has one attempt.
No.
Oh. Well, he's stuck on 170.
175 kilograms.
Well, he's got a big clean and jerk,
He's going to need it.
but Mohammed Butt from Pakistan has got a bigger one. Well, Liti's posted a 216 just to whet your appetite, whereas Mohammed Butt 230.
Yeah, and Mohammed Noor is now going to attempt 175 kilos. That would put him 5 kilos ahead of David Liti.
Yeah, he's not taking any silly increases here, just 2 kilos up on the weight he's just landed. Sensible.
Well, as I mentioned in the introductions, his dad was a silver and bronze medalist at the Asian Championships years ago, and it was his dad who first got him into the sport. So this to enhance his advantage.
Low lift, no way is he getting that. That is a ridiculous amount of strength to hold it. But that was a huge press out from both arms.
Yeah, but he's got a bit of craft, doesn't he? He reacts as if it was a good lift to try and convince everybody that it was good.
Can't believe he even got one white light on this. Take a look. It's near enough resting on his head.
Well, David Liti, for one, will breathe a sigh of relief.
Unbelievable strength to be able to do what we've just seen.
So we come to the halfway point of the competition, and it is the man from Pakistan in picture who does lead the competition with 173 kilos ahead of David Liti of New Zealand, 3 kilos back on 170. Gordon Shaw on a handy 167, but so is Singh Gurdi. And here, confirmation. So you can see the front two, and then pretty close there, England, India, and Samoa. Just 2 kilos separating those 3 men. But the others have got quite a bit of catching up to do if they want to get back into this competition. There were some significant misses on first attempts.
Significant misses could prove very costly. This is still a very close battle, and it doesn't matter what your starting weights are. The question is, what weights are you going to finish on? So we'll whet your appetite with the openers shortly. David Liti is just taking a moment to recompose. The snatch is done. We're on to the second phase. We'll explain what that's all about after this.
So let's have a look back at the first part of the competition. This is the story of the super heavyweight snatch. So just under 8 minutes before we get underway on the clean and jerk. One interesting element that's been introduced here for the spectators as they came in each spectator was given a wristband which illuminates either green or red according to whether it's a good lift or a failure. And it's a really good idea because it actually gets the whole crowd involved in the competition.
Have you seen it in operation yet? I haven't. I've had eyes on the platform the whole time.
I have seen it in operation. It's terrific because it gets people engaged with what's going on. And I think that's part of why a lot of people have really loved coming to the weightlifting. There are a lot of knowledgeable people, but I've also bumped into people who've never been to weightlifting before, and they never imagined it. And just in the interval before we started this competition, someone came up to me and said, after this is all over, where can I go and watch weightlifting?
Well, it's down to British weightlifting here in the UK to answer those questions. Let's hope there is a plan of attack, because it's events like this where capitalising on such success that we've had is so important.
So, let's have a look at the performances of the men who currently lie first, second and third.
Which is the winning lift from Mohamed Noor, but 173 kilos here in the snatch.
Well, he'll be relieved that the man from Pakistan did not get that 175 kilos.
Yeah, he'll be relieved that he's still in contention. 170 was the biggest snatch from David Leety, representing New Zealand. And he's there or thereabouts at the halfway stage.
Well, on the evidence of the lifter from Pakistan, David's going to have to be at his very best. Gordon Shaw, interesting, because he's in with a shout of a bronze medal here.
He certainly is, and he's not one that I necessarily highlighted at the start, but he's had a really good succession of lifts, and he's put himself up there in contention.
This is just the sort of occasion, if Gordon could put all three clean and jerks together,
anything is possible.
What's really going to count.
Anything is possible, David, and he's there or thereabouts, but 3 successful lifts is what he needs to aim for. Finished up with that huge 167 snatch. Here he is with 120 warming up on the clean and jerk. He'll probably just do one lift, put it down and chill out. He's got a collar on there, it's 125. This is about just timing your warm-up, not doing too much. Here he is with the 167. This was enough for third place at the halfway stage. He's on equal weights with Singadeep from India, and only a couple of kilos up from the Samoan. So it's very close.
Very good evening to everybody in Johannesburg, particularly those of you in the Gold's Gym. Hope you're excited by the performance of your man. We're certainly impressed so far with Gordon's performance. Last in the Commonwealth Games back in Glasgow 2014. But he's hunting for a medal tonight.
Before we go to your teammate, how amazing has this Birmingham 2022 crowd been?
And there, this is how it's been from last Saturday at every one of the 16 sessions.
How are you feeling?
Yeah, the crowd are on fire. They're really pumped. They're backing absolutely every lifter that comes to platform, and that's just such a wonderful thing to be part of.
Tonight may bring to an end the weightlifting, but tomorrow is the powerlifting, and I'm very much hoping, as I've seen in previous Commonwealth Games, that the crowds are going to come in and really give their support.
Oh, I'm really sure they are. I'm very much looking forward to seeing the powerlifting tomorrow. So the lifters backstage. Singadeep of India just in the background there, just loosening off, doing a couple of mobility exercises he needs to prior to the clean and jerk. Now, the clean and jerk, this is the second discipline. Lifters once again will receive 3 attempts. The clean is from the floor to the shoulders, and the jerk from the shoulders overhead. The bar must reach arm's length in one continuous movement. No movement allowed at the elbows. Same rules as the snatch. And once again, it's a rising bar. Lifters decide when they enter. 3 attempts only. And it's the best snatch, best clean and jerk added together to give the total. That's where the medals are going to be decided.
Precious was what he did. He broke so many barriers. How important has Precious been on your lot?
One thing that I really like about this warm-up area is that it's big and it's airy. A lot of competitions I've been to have been in halls where it's very enclosed, it gets very hot, and that becomes another factor, but not so here.
What's going through his head?
Yes, backstage it's very spread out. The athletes have a good amount of space. They each have one of these Alico platforms. They have an Alico bar and a full set of Alico weights. They really have been spoiled. It doesn't get much better than this.
So, clean and jerk coming right up. On the right of your screen, the proposed opening weights for each man. Quinn Everett of Canada there, 195, and then Suamili Nanai from Australia, 200. Work your way a little bit further down. Gordon Shaw, 190. He's going to have to find a little bit more than that. And David Litty, if he wants to defend his title, 216. Certainly has to build on that. And then look at the bottom there, 230 kilos for Mohammed Noor Butt. That's the opening weight to take note of. So Nathan Morris has asked for 170 for his opening attempt, and it'll be the South African to get us underway.
It's 15 seconds remaining on the countdown clock before liftoff. The crowd are seated and ready. Referees are in position. Are you sitting comfortably?
So sit back with Michaela and myself. The last chapter of the Commonwealth Games weightlifting of 2022, the super heavyweight division. So Nathan asking for 170, so he's coming right out on his personal best.
Let's make some noise for the first clean and jerk of this session. Make some noise.
You can see those active wristbands in that particular picture. So 3 attempts per man. Everybody alive in the competition, all 9 lifters.
A very unusual hand positioning. There must be some reason for that. So, I mean, I struggle with my hand positioning, but he's got his arms inside his legs, hands inside the knurling. Now, I can only assume that he has issues with mobility holding the bar on his shoulders, but that's super uncomfortable there with the hand, the knuckles resting on the shoulders, drives to arm's length. And with the hands that close, it just looks very, very awkward. If anything, you want your hands a lot wider, but there's clearly a reason that he's doing that. But for those watching back home, ideally, you know, if you do struggle with getting your elbows up and resting the bar on your shoulders, do try your hands close. I maybe wouldn't suggest that close. But on the flip side, if you find it easy with the bar on your shoulders, then maybe try going even wider with the hands. The wider the hands are, the less distance the bar has to travel on the jerk. This is the first time I've seen somebody lift with a hand position like this.
Yeah. Absolutely. I mean, that was very different to anything I've seen. And he's following himself, about a minute to go.
Well, he's clearly just working with the technique in a way that he can control, and I can only assume that there's a reason or there's a limiting factor to get the elbows up with the hands wider. So very interesting. Let's see how he goes. Let's wish him all the best here for his second attempt. Could do with getting this one on the board.
Well, a failure at the second attempt puts maximum pressure onto him now, because he's got one attempt to get a total. And to be honest, I'm not sure.
No, that wasn't overly convincing. Nathan Morris is in a spot of bother right now. 2-minute clock is counting already. That last lift wouldn't have taken too much out of him, so should be able to recover no problem in this time. But he certainly needs to keep the chest high and the back strong to make the clean as easy as possible. Looking at the way he's lifting, I would say the jerk is going to be the more challenging part of the lift, so he needs to conserve as much energy as possible during the clean. Coach just waving the towel in front of him to try and create some air. The venue, I think, is a good temperature, but obviously when you're active and lifting, you're going to get warm, and sometimes, you know, if you're not in anywhere that's air conditioned, it can be a bit close around you. Well, he needs the crowd this time to get behind him, to lift him, to help him along the way.
So Nathan Morris, final roll of the dice here. He makes it, he gets a total. He misses, it'll be a horrible memory. First stage, get the clean.
Does well to stand.
Well, it's so unusual, so extraordinary. Everything about his technique is not something we're used to seeing.
No, I mean, the way he actually moved with the bar was really good. Technically very sound. It's just the hand positioning that we're not familiar with. The knees outside the arms is uncommon, but I would like to know the reason for this. But yeah, it just looks very, very close. I mean, my hands come in awkwardly close. It just makes the jerk so difficult. He does well to stand. He nearly buckled at the bottom. Here he gets a really good lockout, but the hips, unfortunately, are behind the bar. Back leg is straight, back foot pointing out.
You might have noticed also on the clean, his elbows came dangerously close to his knees as well. So some work to do, but sadly no total for the man from South Africa. And now to Sri Lanka.
I'm not sure.
2-1 against him. So Ushan Wardana Patirange.
Take a look here. The clean is fine. There's no issues with the clean, but the jerk, it's the right arm that we need to watch. The bar must go to arm's length first time. No movement in the elbow. His right arm, our left as we see it. Bent, straight. There's the press out.
Okay, so in weightlifting, remember, it's the majority decision that counts. So if it's 2 red lights...
Yeah, you would think that that would be 3 rejections, 3 red lights, but because it's the right arm, the referee on the left-hand side doesn't get as clear view.
Well, David, to be fair, we're sat kind of the same angle, as it were, as one of the side referees, and we're seeing them.
Yeah, but we're on the right side, so we can see his right arm.
Yeah, but we're picking up on the left ones as well. I'd say the I know what you're saying, but the jury, it was a pretty deliberate press out there.
Right, he only made 1 out of 3 snatches, and he only brought forward 138 kilos, so unfortunately, any sort of challenge for any sort of medal, that went out the window long ago. Well, that's definitely better.
That one's absolutely fine. Good lockout, both arms. He's got one on the board. 175 gives him a 313 total. Gets good extension on his toes to stand. He does well there. Let's have a look at the lockout. Nice. Sri Lankan contingent running to the table to make the change in weight before the clock runs 30 seconds. He's going up.
Going up to 180 kilos. But most of the other men in the competition at the moment, 190, 210, 200, 215, 195, 190, 230. So he will be following himself.
Yeah, that 2-minute clock, it can be tough, but, you know, if you are a lifter watching this and you have aspirations for competing, make sure that you train in a way that doesn't give yourself too much recovery, because you need to be fit enough to be able to meet these kind of demands. So I try and have my lifters training on a rolling clock, take a set every 2 minutes. That way they never get too much recovery, and it just builds that weightlifting specific fitness. And it is all about specific fitness at this level. These guys are certainly not fit to run any distance, but they would be very quick off the mark over 10 meters. They need to be fit to execute a maximal lift and recover very quickly afterwards.
So, here we go. Third attempt. Bar at 180, a 5-kilo increase to perhaps earn himself a total of 318 kilos. And he was hoping before this evening began for at least 320. Not his day, I'm afraid.
No, not much to report here, just too much for the day. He bows out with a 175, that whipping of the shoulders back, hips flick forwards, didn't land on flat feet.
Of course, the Commonwealth Games is at a very different level to the World Championships and the Olympic Games, but just to highlight the difference between the levels, Lasha Talakhadze of Georgia, a total of 492, 267 kilos he lifts in the clean and jerk. But Gordon Shaw now 195. clean wasn't that easy.
No, I'd say this to me was a nervous lift. He didn't quite get the extension at the hip to generate maximum power. As a result, caught the bar with his chest a little collapsed, dipped, paused. I thought he was going to stop for a cup of tea then. That's really hard to get the bar moving. Ideally, you want to dip and drive in one continuous movement, but he's powerful enough, he's strong enough to still get the bar to arm's length.
So takes the competition into or up to a new level with a total of 362 kilos, and Suamili Nanai, the Australian, who's in the Royal Australian Navy, next to come out with the bar going to 200 kilos. The man from Perth, 160 kilos from the first half of the competition.
He's gone up.
And he's gone up. Indeed, he has gone up to 201. That just might put Quinn Everett of Canada in. So Quinn Everett has gone up to 201. So what is Samoa going to do? Because Petelo Tuiloma, he's gone up to 201, so goes back to Suamili Nanai. Well, he's got plenty of support back in Perth at the Ox Weightlifting Club. Andrew and Jay Sexton, who used to be British weightlifters out there running that gym. Stands still, gets the down signal, gets the white lights, and achieves a total of 361, just a kilo behind Gordon Shaw.
Catching the clean on his toes, ideally wants to be landing on flat feet to drive out. Pretty good overhead, just a few wobbles. He's got one on the board, that's all that matters.
So, Canada's turn now. Quinn Everett to try and pick up 201 kilos. In his case, 157 kilos is what he brings forward. So that's 3 kilos less than the Australian, who was just successful. But this will put him up into 3rd place. And that's a decent jerk overhead.
Very decent. He's a tall guy, long way for that bar to move. And remember, you missed the snatch to fill you in. He hasn't had the best prep for this competition. He was isolated for a couple of weeks, so it meant he missed out on a couple of weeks training just before these games. I think he's only had 1 training session before this competition.
Now, Michaela, if we were to assume that the real battle for gold and silver is going to be between David Litti, the defending champion, and Mohammed Butt, then we're right at the heart of the battle for the bronze medal.
We are, but I think we need to be really mindful here of Singha Deep from India. He's got a pretty decent snatch on the board, and he's posted a 210 on the clean and jerk as well, so he can easily make up the deficit.
First, though, it's Samoa at 201 kilos. That's a good lift.
Very impressive. He's a great build for this sport, isn't he? Not too tall, short to compact, and mightily powerful. Early arm pull that we see commonplace with most of the Samoans. They're just so strong. Big drive, splits long, very good overhead.
And that's put him into the lead, 366 kilos, 4 ahead of Gordon Shaw of England, Suamini Nanai of Australia in 3rd place at the moment, 361, and pretty close behind Quinn Everett of Canada in 4th place on 358. So all to play for at the moment. Just looking at the next weights, Gordon Shaw, 203 kilos. Now they're going to stay on that.
Yes, Team England have read the board perfectly, knowing exactly what other coaches are moving to, and they predicted that Gordon Shaw would be next out. They've called it spot on once again.
Gordon really needs this because there are 1 or 2 significant increases that have been made, and he needs a better clean, that's for sure. And that is the costly failure.
Well, costly on his first attempt. He didn't quite get the extension at the hip. Once again, it's not there, and he catches with those rounded shoulders. Come on, Gordon needs to keep that back strong, chest high to catch it. Easier said than done when you're playing about with over 200 kilos, 203 to be precise.
Yeah, but very difficult for him to challenge for a medal now, particularly with 3 athletes who've yet to start their clean and jerk campaign.
And Stuart has just run backstage. It's a 2-minute clock, hasn't started yet because the loaders are loading the bar.
Well, the reason why Stuart's run back is to get Gordon some more time, so he's pushed it up to 205 kilos.
205 kilograms. This will be for the 3rd attempt of Gordon Shaw from England. 205 kilograms for the 3rd attempt of Gordon Shaw from England. And he can run for the 2nd.
Yeah, well, Quinn Everett of Canada was on 205, but they've increased that to 206 kilos, and that's why Gordon...
There's a change though, it's 203. It's come down to
203 kilos for Gordon.
Not really sure what's happened there.
No.
Some miscommunication between the back table and the table at the front.
So we're sort of back to where we were. The only thing you can say is it's given Gordon a few more seconds.
Yeah, that will be most useful. The loaders have had a good workout there as well.
So now he's got a 2-minute clock. So in that regard, in terms of time, he's profited with all of that. Well, this is an 8-kilo increase. So it would take him to 370, and it would, for the moment, put him into first place.
This is your Gordon Shaw's last test of the...
He's still got loads of time on the clock, 1:20.
Got a personal best of 205, so 203. It's possible, but as I said just before he started the second attempt, the clean is essential. Got to do this economically. Come on, stand up. Come on. Running out of gas.
He's run out of gas. That was a really good fight. You can see just how hard the clean was. Better extension, keeps the chest up, and has to work so hard here. He gave it absolutely everything. Just not enough legs left for the jerk. I'm sure we're going to be seeing Gordon hit these weights and more in the not too distant future.
Yeah, a bit disappointing for him because I did say at the end of the snatch phase he had an outside chance of the medals, but not to be on this day, and the competition moves on. And the man who's in the lead is Petelo Tuiloma of Samoa. Already has 201 kilos, now going for 206, a 5-kilo increase to take him to 371 to enhance his position at the top of the table. But Singh Gurdeep of India, David Litti, the defending champion, and Mohammed Noor Butt of Pakistan yet to start. Come on. Oh, that's good. Good fight to get his 206 kilos. Excellent.
That's an outstanding battle. It was him against the bar from start to finish. The bar was testing. Hardly enough height to get underneath, and somehow he did. Stagger backwards to steady, the awkward adjustment, and then somewhere he found the legs to drive to arm's length, and this was a convincing jerk. Super powerful, so fast into position, and that's in slow motion.
So on the stage comes Singh Gurdeep. Now, he had posted 210 for his opener. He's reduced to 207, but that may be just the circumstance of the competition. Makes nothing of that. And that's a good opener.
No, I'd say there's a reason. Something went wrong in the warm-up room, which is why he's come down. There's still too many lifters left in for him to get complacent, but that was convincing. So if there has been an issue, it's not evident here. He caught the whip lovely. I talk about the whip. Watch the bar bending. That's the bar whipping. You catch the whip right, and the bar will twang to where you want it to go.
So a total of 374. He leads ahead of the Samoan. That's Petelo Tuiloma, who just failed at 206. He's got one more attempt to come. And the bar going to 210 kilos. And the bar changing yet again. Well, not the bar, but the man. Quinn Everett for Canada. Got 201, now looking for a 9-kilo increase, the Canadian. So this would be 367, which would put him up into third place. This is his second attempt. Would just overtake Gordon Shaw, who's currently third.
Let's take a look here. It really drives powerfully with the legs, gets pretty good extension. Keeps the chest high. Now he's a tall guy, doesn't have the legs to drive it high enough. My thoughts to split longer, get the body lower. Not quite at arm's length. He needs to do something. If he's unable to drive the bar any higher, he's got to get under it.
So Amili Nanai of Australia, 212 for his second attempt. Singh Gurdeep looking for 215 for his second attempt. David Litti of New Zealand, 216 before he starts. Mohammed Noor Butt, 230 massive opener for him.
Clock there, you can see almost approaching a minute. Joe will ask him to take his feet. Oh, it's not, sorry, it's not Australia, is it? It's Canada.
It is.
Quinn Everett. Well, he'll be on his feet in a moment. Here we go.
So Quinn will be looking for a bit of support from this crowd for this crucial third attempt. So once again, this is a 9-kilo increase. Even if he gets this, I don't think it's going to be good enough ultimately for any sort of a medal.
I don't think so.
I don't think so either.
And he's celebrating as though he's got it.
Well,
2-1 in favour, but
no.
I regret to inform you, the jury have raised their flag. They will be taking a brief look. And I fear they may see what we've seen, which is bent elbows there. And then straight elbows when the bar comes to stationary.
Yeah, just to expand on what Michaela was just saying, the jury have a yellow flag, and every time they indicate that they're not satisfied with the result from the referees, the president of the jury pokes that in the air, and the competition is brought to a halt while the review takes place.
I think the next stage is to find a more efficient way of them letting us know so we can inform you quicker. At the moment, the decision has been made.
Well, I'm absolutely clear that the president of the jury should make the announcement, and not only that, he should explain, or she, if it happens to be a female president of the jury.
So the decision is in. The last attempt has been reversed. No lift for Quinn.
What I was going to say was, I think the president of the jury ought to be the one who announces whether it's a good lift or not a good lift, and also explain why.
Totally agree with you.
You know, like so many sports these days.
Take a Dallas Santavi from Canada and said, I'm going to challenge that.
Yeah.
Take another look. They're challenging the jury that are the ones that have made the decision. Why not? You've got a challenge card. Give it a go.
Yeah, the problem about it is that when the jury make the decision, the challenge card is virtually useless.
Yeah, it goes back to them. So this, I mean, Dallas was even... Dallas has even got a big smile on his face with this challenge. He knows the chances are very slim. Well, we can get the crowd involved here with the decision. Ooh.
It stands. Well, of course it does.
Well, Team Canada just having a bit of fun there, giving the challenge card a go. They had to do it.
The problem is that if he goes home and that everybody will be saying, well, why didn't you use the challenge card?
I think the decision was correct.
So the situation at the moment is that Singh Gurdeep of India still leading with 374 from Patello Tuiloma of Samoa, 371. Gordon Shaw of England still in third place at this moment in time, 362. But it'll be Suamini Nanai of Australia coming out next on 215 kilos. And this is a whopping 14-kilo attempt, or increase, I should say. Now, these may be big guys, but 14 kilos.
This is big, really big. This to put him up into the lead. So there is significance to the number.
Well, he's conscious of the fact that he wants to get into potentially the bronze medal position. He's got 2 goes at it. This is only his second attempt. One more go.
Super slow off the floor. Speed off the floor is irrelevant. These are heavy weights. You've got to be able to really explode from mid-thigh. See how fast he got under? Needs a little bit more explosion on the way up. The early arm bend pulls him forwards. Means he doesn't quite get enough extension. Well, he's capable of getting under it. Does he believe it?
Well, fortunately, he's got a bit of time because Singh Gurdeep of India, leading the competition, also wants 215. But for him, it's an 8-kilo increase, which, on the face of it, should be a lot more manageable. But, of course, if he gets this, this will take him to 382 and make the task for the Australian even more monstrous.
No lift, right arm. Oh, he's got it, 3 white lights as well.
Well, let's have a look out.
Jury's flag is up, I think.
Yeah,
I mean, we've got head in hands from the jury here, as if to say, how did you miss that?
Robert Rose from the Seychelles, the technical controller, making his way to the jury desk. Well, they're pretty sure, aren't they? There was a very quick decision there.
Here we go again. His right arm, our left as we look at it. Bent, straight.
So everything stays the same. So this is all about the bronze medal, and it's Patelo Tuiloma of Samoa. He's looking for 215. This is pretty important. Now this is a 9-kilo increase, and this would take him to 380. And then Singh Gurdeep of India would have one final attempt, as would Suamili Nanai of Australia. So this to go into the lead.
Nowhere near. Didn't believe it. Too big a jump, too much for today. The last lift took a lot out of him on the clean. Acknowledges the crowd for their support, and he bows out.
But first international, he's acquitted himself pretty well.
Not a bad performance. Biggest platform he's ever competed on.
So at the moment, Singh Gurdeep, who has one more attempt left, is in possession of a medal, potentially. But this man
has the potential to go ahead of him.
He does indeed. Suamili Nanai in his first big international.
This is a huge lift, as you alluded to a moment ago. Up 14 kilos from that first attempt. Come on.
Not to be, and the result of that failure is that Singh Gurdeep, who still has the one opportunity to come out for 215, is going to get a medal. The only thing we don't know is what colour it's going to be.
Yeah, pulls the bar onto him, knocks himself backwards. Pretty much impossible to recover from that position with that kind of load on the shoulders.
Just looking at the scoreboard, a lot of red, a lot of failures. So Singh Gurdeep has put up his third attempt to 220. Meanwhile, the defending champion, David Litti, who, if I remember, I think he was going to come in on 216, and he's up the bar to 218. This is to try and gather in a few kilos against the man who was superior to him in the snatch phase, and that, of course, was Mr. Butt from Pakistan. So, New Zealand. Well, no question about that. That's a very good first attempt. So, zooms into first place with a total of 388 kilos. Gudi Pravindia down to silver, Patello Tuiloma to bronze.
And new games record in the clean and jerk and total. David Leety, ever the performer.
Kilograms for the same athlete, 220 kilograms for the second attempt. David Leety from New Zealand. Will set new records in the jerk and the total.
Well, interestingly enough, Singh Gurdeep, when he's playing the big lift card, he's put the weight up to 223. Well, I can't believe that 207 was his first good attempt.
Oh, this is huge. Well, Singh Gurdeep not happy with the bronze medal. He fancies something a bit shinier.
Well, he's cleaned it. Oh, come on. Oh.
Let's see what the referees make of it.
2-1 in his favour. Celebrates. It's the central referee who wasn't happy.
There's no movement from the jury. They seem happy. Maybe they did look around at each other, but they haven't raised the flag, so the clean is good. Let's take a look at the arms. I thought I saw movement. We've seen lifts much better than this. Get failed, bent, and straight. It's small, but that's how fussy the refereeing has been at this championships.
But he's earned himself 390 kilos, new clean and jerk record, new games record, and he finds himself 2 kilos ahead of David Leety, defending champion, who has 2 attempts at his disposal. Mohammed Nur Butt of Pakistan just waiting in the wings. By the way, he's dropped his opening attempt from 230 to 225.
Easy clean, his jerk is always so solid. Don't tempt fate.
There's the extra 6 kilos. So up to 394. Now I have a fancy here, Michaela, that he's really going to want Mohammed Nur Butt to come out on 225.
You see now, he's going to whack his 3rd attempt up, super high, force out Mohammed Butt, and then see what he needs.
Yeah, exactly so.
That was brilliant, though.
So 4 lifts left in the competition. 3 of them belong to this man, 1 to the defending champion. 173 kilos and a games record in the snatch. So the leader at halfway over David Leety by 3 important kilos. one, he says.
Well, he certainly is at the moment. And this was an outstanding opening lift. We take a look here. He gets good power, brilliant strength to stand. Now we see here a power jerk. He doesn't even bother recovering his feet afterwards. And that's absolutely fine. Just the feet need to be in line, which they are. Straightens the legs, lift is finished, job done.
4 kilo advantage. David Leety's sure he's not going to stay on 225. They've got a... Exactly. So the Kiwi camp have put the bar up to 228.
Do you know what they've done? They've just burnt his clock, haven't they? They played that brilliantly.
So
but he's going to go up as well.
Yeah.
But if David Leety just puts his weight right up, he burns the clock for Mohammed Butt, who will then only have a minute.
Well, this is the poker game.
230 is a weight from David Leety.
David Leety at the moment 228, but has gone to 230.
No, I think he's going up again. Oh, I don't know what he's doing. I think they're trying to burn the clock here for Butt.
So David Leety goes to 230. Second attempts have to take precedence over third attempts. So this is trying to force Butt out. Butt, who's got a personal best of 235 kilos.
They're saying go up because they need more time to recover. But I think David Leety will just follow, surely.
Well, it's up to Mohammed Noor Butt if he wants to come out here and...
Well, no, you know, let's just play intelligently here. Does Leety come out and just try and get himself into the lead now rather than being drawn into this cat and mouse situation? If David Leety does come out and try and go into the lead, he has to then sit and hope that Butt fails the next two. Oh, he's going at 32.
Well, just imagine, you know, a card table and everybody just pushing their money into the centre. So it is Mohammed Noor Butt who said, I've had enough of this. I'm going to come out at 232. So this is a 7 kilo increase, which would take him to 405 kilos. And remember, this is only his second attempt. It's there.
Surely he cannot be beaten now. Is that enough for the gold medal here in the men's supers? One man between him and that gold medal. David Leety has an uphill battle. Here we see strong clean. It hits him hard at the bottom. Then has to readjust the hands.
Well, he needs 12 kilos.
The jerk here, super powerful. The power jerk straightens the legs to finish the lift. Doesn't need to bring the feet back so long as they're in line. David Leety not playing the game. He's going for, is this a personal best?
232, just having a look at this for David Leety. He's actually got a best of 236.
Well, he's the silver medalist. He's not going to take gold with this, but he's asking the crowd to help with the lift.
Effectively, he's accepting the fact that it's Butt from Pakistan who is the Commonwealth Games champion. Well, he finishes on 394. Takes the silver medal. Singh Godi of India gets the bronze, and Mohammed Noor Butt is the Commonwealth Games champion of the super heavyweight here in Birmingham in 2022. The man who got the bronze medal 4 years ago now elevates that to gold.
And I think we're going to find that is game over. Mohammed Butt does not need his third attempt, and I don't think he's coming to the platform. In fact, he's going back to the warm-up room.
Yeah, to be honest, you can't blame him. And so, the Commonwealth Games weightlifting, in terms of the action, comes to an end, and here's the lift that did the greatest damage.
232 kilos to give an overall total of 405. This was big. And this was Mohammed Nur Butt from Pakistan, Commonwealth Games champion in the men's super heavyweight.
There it is, a games record. 232 in the clean and jerk. He gets all the games records. And of course, as Mikhaila said, he will very shortly collect the gold medal. So Pakistan take the final gold medal, the 16th gold medal of these Commonwealth Games weightlifting festival of sport here. Well, it was a perfect example of a poker game with Liti and Butt, their respective coaches, upping the ante time and time again.
And they played the game really, really well, as we have seen, or as you have seen. If you haven't watched this sport before, this isn't just about the weights lifted on the platform. There's a lot more to it. A lot goes on backstage, and the coaches have done a great job.
I think we also ought to give a pat on the back to Singh Gurdeep. Remember, he finished 4th in the Commonwealth Games 4 years ago, behind Butt of Pakistan. So he has finally put himself into the Commonwealth Games medal roster.
Yeah, virtue of that heavy clean and jerk, he started really heavy, he pushed it, he made up the deficit from the snatch. Had a really good performance here to find himself on top of the podium.
I think a key theme throughout this has been electric.
Well, this is just an example that we've seen all through the past 5 days of the sporting camaraderie of all the athletes and the coaches. It's one of the special features of the friendly games, the way that sport is conducted, the way that people behave, and they are generous in their appreciation of those who do a little bit better.
They are. They all have the utmost respect for one another. They all train just as hard. Somebody's got to win, somebody's got to finish off the podium, but they all shake hands at the end.
So, just to confirm how it all finished, there you have Mohammed Nur Butt of Pakistan, all the games records, 173, 232, 405. David Liti on this day just not able to match the man from Pakistan. A very decisive victory by 11 kilos. And indeed, Singh Gurdeep in the bronze medal position, ahead of the rest by some margin. And then Gordon Shaw of England. And so, an opportunity as they get ready for the medal presentation to reflect on the final competition of the weightlifting games here in Birmingham. Well, we've got a couple of moments, Michaela. A moment or two for you to just give me... It's very hard because the lifting has been of such high quality.
You're going to put me on the spot now, aren't you?
I am.
Chris Murray from England, men's 81.
I thought you were going to say that.
Just unbelievably outstanding, lifted out of his skin, 6 out of 6, absolutely faultless, under huge pressure in front of a home crowd, and the first time in way too many years that we've seen that kind of performance here in Great Britain. So I'm just so chuffed for Chris Murray.
Yeah, I wouldn't disagree, but I want to pick out one or two other highlights. Maud Sharon, the Olympic champion, defending gold medalist for Canada. The Canadians have done a fantastic job with their team. They've always been there or thereabouts, collecting medals, and I think they deserve a big pat on the back. And Maud was absolutely excellent in winning her gold medal and retaining her title. Obviously, this afternoon, the occasion for Emily Campbell, very special in this atmosphere on a home stage.
Yeah, can't argue with either of those. I think that there's just been so many highs of this Games and so many memories that we'll treasure, and just some wonderful performances.
Don Opologi yesterday, continuing the dynasty, another gold medal for the royal family of Samoa. And just a wonderful amount of quality lifting. It's not always about lifters who win. We've had some great memories. I know a great friend of yours, Dika Tua, at the age of 38, almost getting a medal.
Yeah, she's been around forever and continues to bring out performances on this kind of platform to such a high level. Shame she was off the podium, but she has, you know, got another Commonwealth Games under her belt.
And then Eileen Chikamatana in the 87 kilo women's competition at the age of 22, with that unique relationship she's got with Paul Coffer, who's been a father to her. And when she won yesterday, that was his 104th medal. In fact, what we're saying is he has trained athletes to win 104 medals at the Commonwealth Games. That's unbelievable.
That's a feat that will never be beaten.
So lots of memories. Sam Copper, the technical delegate, who's been responsible on behalf of the Commonwealth Games Federation for overseeing the organisation and running of the competition, working his way round with lots of thank yous. And of course, tonight's a big night for the organisation here. They have to transform the whole of this from the weightlifting stage to the powerlifting theatre.
Cannot wait for tomorrow to get underway.
Well, let's just have a look here. The man who got the bronze medal, finally, 4th 4 years ago. But now the man who is supported by the Indian Railways has got a bronze medal. David Leakey was excellent 4 years ago, but today just couldn't manage the man from Pakistan, who he defeated 4 years ago. But this is the man who brought his A game to the competition. Absolutely dominant, super confident and terrific in his execution, and quite rightly looking for the crowd to really respond to a sequence of perfect lifts. Other mentions? Well, certainly the loaders, the best loading team I've ever seen.
The most entertaining loading team I've ever seen. I did get a nice little video of their routine. Brilliant.
Super fast. Entertaining, as you said, and we're just a couple of moments away from the start of the last medal ceremony. It's been remarkable. This is the sort of atmosphere, people bouncing around, enjoying the music. DJs have been great here. They've really got
First time
rhythm
I've been
and
to
bounce into the feeling. And, you know, so many weightlifting competitions we've gone to over the years have been cold and flat. Not here.
This is the first competition I've been to with a live DJ, and I think it really does lift everything. I have a friend of mine that I coach in the States, actually. She's a DJ, and she does a lot of this in CrossFit gyms when there are competitions going on, and I can just imagine the atmosphere really hots up.
Yeah, particularly when you've got these rather long periods of not a lot happening. I can't quite understand why it's taken them quite so long to get the big boys together to come out. They're all there, they're ready to go. So they're on their way.
The medal ceremony for the men's 109+ category. NEC All-Time, please welcome the medalists. The medals will be presented by Joseph Miami, Secretary General of the Commonwealth Men's Association of Sierra Leone.
With the honour of presenting the final set of medals.
Accompanied by Prem Narayan, Secretary General of the Commonwealth Men's Association of Fiji. Bronze medalist, representing India, Gurdeep Singh.
4 years ago, it was only the bronze, but now, sorry, I should say it was only 4th place, but now it's the bronze. 167 kilos in the snatch, along with 223 in the clean and jerk to achieve 390 kilos to earn him the bronze medal.
Silver medalist, representing New Zealand.
Singh, 26 years of age, the same age as this man, David Litti, who just had to accept today that silver was where he was destined to finish. 170, 224, 394, missing out by 11 kilos. So to the new Commonwealth Games champion at super heavyweight.
Representing Pakistan, Mohammed Noor Butt.
Only 24. He's turned bronze into gold with all the games records. 173 kilos in the snatch, 232 in the clean and jerk, to give himself a total and a new games record of 405 kilos. The clear and decisive winner, representing Pakistan. Collected these very special Commonwealth Games medals, and it's the national anthem of Pakistan that will bring proceedings to a close here.
For those who are able to, please stand for the anthem of Pakistan.
Well, 5 super days of sport in a wonderful environment, and weightlifting at its very best.
We have been privileged to commentate on a wonderful competition. This Commonwealth Games has been something special, and notably the fact that we have the crowds back, we have the atmosphere back, we have our sport back.
Indeed, and 3 very happy men collecting those very special medals. Well, before we go, we'll very shortly bring you the final medal table of the weightlifting performances here, and it's a very, very healthy outcome. Here, the first page, and at the end of it all, you can see there India with 10 medals, 3 of them gold, 3 of them silver, and 4 of them bronze, ahead of the host nation, who collected 5 medals, 3 of them gold. Canada, very consistent in 3rd place, and Nigeria also always present, particularly in the women's weightlifting division. Malaysia, who started so well, winning the first 2 men's categories, and there the 1 Samoan goal for Don Opalogi yesterday. So, as you can see, 9 countries on the first page, but not finished there, because have a look at that. 9 becomes 12, 12 becomes 15 nations who will be taking home medals from this arena, and that is very good news and underlines the health of the weightlifting world across the Commonwealth. So that's it from Michaela Breeze and myself, David Goldstrom. Thank you so much for watching. As ever, great to have you on board. I would remind you that we'll back with the para powerlifting tomorrow, but for now, from Michaela and myself, thank you for watching. Bye-bye from Birmingham.